Hello, hi. My name is Eric Prosher, and I'm with the I represent Jesse Brown VA Medical Center, and today we have a special guest from our center. She is one of our suicide prevention coordinators. Her name is Michelle Langlois, and she's a clinical social worker, and she's been in this game a lot. And over the next 25 minutes, we're going to be talking about the VA's efforts to combat suicide and the suicide preventions that are available. And so this is a live call-in program. Call in, ask us your questions. That's 312-738-1060. So hello, Michelle. Welcome back. It's so glad to have you on the show again. It's been a couple years, and I thought because September is Suicide Prevention Month, there is because we'd have you come on and talk and update us on what's going on at the VA wide, and especially at Jesse Brown VA, located at 820 South Damon Street. Hi.
Hi, well, thanks for having me.
So, what's been going on the front of suicide prevention?
Suicide...
Because last we spoke, the suicide prevention in the VA, the crisis line, and there was a video. It was award-winning, right?
Yes, the Veterans Crisis Line, Press One.
Press One was getting a lot of press because it was saving lives. It was working.
Yes, it won an Oscar.
It won an Oscar.
Yeah, so some of the things that we're kind of working on now in suicide prevention for the VA is we have the VA does a lot of research, and the most recent research has come out that about 20 veterans die by suicide per day. And part of the interesting thing about the number, Eric, is that only 6 of those veterans come to the VA for care. So 14 of the veterans either are not coming in, or they're maybe going out to the private sector. And so we're trying to target those 14 veterans that are in the community so that we can get them into care, so we can reduce that suicide rate.
That's really challenging because sometimes there's rumors and reputation like, what's the VA doing? All these veterans are killing themselves, but it's actually the VAs that don't make the connection to the veterans, that don't make the connection to the VA, that are leading the spike in suicides.
Yes. So the rate for suicide for the VA is somewhat stable, but when you look at the data, the veterans who are not coming in for care or in VHA care, their rate continues to increase.
Wow. So what can the VA do? And what is the VA doing to address this, the 14 out of the 20 veterans that aren't accessing their health care benefits at the VA?
One thing that the VA is doing is part of the job of the suicide prevention team is to work in coordination with community resources and provide suicide prevention education, get the information out on the crisis line and resources for the VA. For example, today I spoke at length with the Wounded Warrior Project so that we can partner more collaboratively, and we want to look at it more of a public health approach. We can't really reduce that number unless we work together. And some other ways that we're doing is the VA has developed a really wonderful resource I'd like to talk about today called Make the Connection. We had the privilege about 2 weeks ago for the people who developed Make the Connection to come to Jesse Brown VA and teach our staff, demonstrate this to the veterans on this wonderful resource that is geared in order to try to get veterans who maybe aren't coming in to hear stories of other veterans, so they know that they're not alone, that there's other veterans who are having some of the same symptoms they might be dealing with or experiences, and also kind of what maybe led those veterans in order to get help and to recover. We want to show that there's definitely treatment's effective, you can recover, and there's lots of different ways to get treatment, not just through the VA, but through vet centers, through people's churches and other kind of avenues in order to help get them into treatment so we can have them have a full, productive life that they deserve.
Okay, so it sounds like a community health approach is an approach that kind of enlists everyone. Everyone has a role in preventing suicide. And one of the newer technologies the VA is using is the Make the Connection.
Correct.
And that and this is a resource utilizing peers that have made the connection, that have
Yeah.
similar struggles, so that veterans could kind of have role models on how to make those big differences that open up the resources that are available to them.
Correct.
Okay, so why don't we take a look at that and talk through it? And for those of you that may have just joined us at home, you're watching a live call-in interactive program brought to you by Can TV 21, and we're here representing Jesse Brown VA Medical Center, located 820 South Damon. I'm Eric Prosher, and this is Michelle Langlois. She's a social worker, and she's a suicide prevention officer, and we're both here. I'm a psychologist. We're both here to answer any questions you might have related to VA care, VA mental health, or suicide. So we were talking about Make the Connection is a new technology, and let's look at a video that one could see there.
Yeah, there's about 700 videos on this site, and they actually did interview Chicago veterans as well. So this video,
So set us up. What is this? What are we looking at right now? Whoops.
yeah, so this video is one of the Chicago videos, and this is a young woman by the name of Jeanette, and this is her story.
2001. And I ended in July 2004, so I did 3 years active duty. We deployed in September 2002 to Kuwait, a peacekeeping mission, but it turned into Iraq about 6 months later. It was just difficult being 19 in a different country when you've never been out the country. That was difficult, and I didn't want to believe that we were actually going to go to war. My father died while I was deployed when we were actually in Iraq, so everything just changed. When he passed, I went back to the States, and I ended up, doing the whole procedure, the funeral and everything like that. And I was just so frustrated, like the whole world just was different. You're in another country for so many months, almost a year, and you're used to carrying a weapon with you every day. You have a helmet, you have all this gear, and now I'm riding in a car with just regular clothes on, and I feel naked. I went back to my unit. One of our headquarters that got blown up, and the way that the plane flew solo, it shook everything, and then this explosion, and we don't know what's going on. Just that chaotic feeling. I guess my chain of command saw a difference in me, so I ended up seeing a counselor when I came back. Just kind of went through the motions again, but the following year I didn't re-enlist and I got out, and I ended up coming home, and I was really all about trying to get benefits, get into school and things like that. I knew things had changed, but I didn't think about it like that. I was having panic attacks. I had a panic attack when I was still in the military, but I didn't put it together like that. My
Okay.
friends that have
So we have a caller, and that was an example of one of the stories, a Chicago veteran that was struggling, and you got to see, I guess, how she came to get connected to the VA. Hi, caller. You're here with Eric Prosher and Michelle Langlois, a social worker and psychologist, and we're here to answer your questions. We're talking about suicide and veterans. This is Suicide Prevention Month.
Hi. Thanks so much for taking my call. I was wondering if you had any kind of practical recommendations if you suspect that somebody that you love has suicidal tendencies.
Okay, so you are asking about what are possible recommendations for dealing with someone close in your life that you suspect has suicidal tendencies?
Yes, precisely.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Michelle.
Is that
that's
a good
one.
question?
That,
Is that a good question?
That's why we're here.
Well, there's a few things you can do. I mean, treatment's really effective, so I definitely would encourage getting that person into care. That's not always easy. Not everybody is willing to get into care.
And that's why we have the videos like this,
Right.
to kind of help ease.
Where can I see those videos?
We're going to show it in a few minutes, but let's hear a little bit what else she can do.
Yeah, so definitely we're going to show you how to actually use this website and use that in order to possibly get a veteran who might be struggling with getting into care, especially if you're concerned about suicide. If you feel like there's something that person would do, and they're imminent risk, I would bring them right to the emergency room or call 911 if they're not willing to go. We definitely want to make sure our veterans are safe and get the care that they need. We want them to make that choice, but if there's an imminent risk, we definitely, that is the recourse that you can do is contact 911.
That is a very practical recommendation.
Yeah. There's another resource. I'm not sure if we can show this, but there's a resource called Coaching to Care, and it's a phone number that a family member or friend can call in order to consult with somebody from the VA and maybe how to help this veteran get into treatment. So if you're concerned, you feel like it's leading to a point of imminent risk, and you're not quite sure also how to get them into care, there's a consultation line that you can call, and that's 1-888-823-7458. And again, it's Coaching into Care.
Can you repeat that again?
It's 1-888-823-7458.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, yes, that's often important. I mean, we didn't ask if, there was something that was open about, but a lot of people, there's a myth that, if you ask someone specifically about if they are having thoughts of not wanting to be here anymore or wanting to hurt themselves, that this would cause major problems. But this would cause the person or edge them in the direction of that. And we know this is absolutely false and not true. There's no connection between that. So I would also recommend, reaching out and connecting and asking questions and in a caring way.
Yeah, support goes a really long way. Also, the VA does what we call the Be There campaign. And more or less, just little things that you can do to be there for a veteran can actually go a long way. Social support and feeling that connectedness is huge in protecting people from following through with suicide. It might not seem a lot, and I was actually talking to Wounded Warriors today about that. Just taking somebody, for coffee, watching their kids so they can go to an appointment, sending a text and just saying, I'm thinking about you, how are you doing today, really goes a long way. And people don't always feel like that's enough, but it actually really does help somebody who might be struggling with these thoughts.
Exactly. I remember there was a speaker that came by that survived the suicide attempt after he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. But moments before he had made this split decision, he said to himself, if the next person that walks by me says hello to me or greets me, then I won't jump. So that kind of speaks to that innate desire that we all have for connection, and so you never know unless you take that risk to connect.
So yeah, absolutely. So connection. I know the caller was asking about kind of what the website is. So we're going to show you that.
Let's look at that.
So again, it's Make the Connection, all one word. The one over.
This one, yes.
And .net. It's not .gov, it's .net.
Yes. MakeTheConnection.net. You can see what you'll see at home. We're going to take this call and then we'll proceed on the website. Hello, caller. Hi, you're with Michelle Langlois and Eric Prosher from Jesse Brown VA Medical Center, and we're talking about veteran and suicide prevention.
Hi, good evening. I was looking at the Make the Connection website, and something that was very interesting to me was when you looked under suicide, and of course that's what you're talking about tonight for the Suicide Prevention Month, they had the ability to customize videos by veterans based on the era that they served. For example, post 9/11, Desert, Vietnam, Korean War, WW2. So I was just curious if each of you could speak to any programs that you have that target the various eras for the veterans?
Sure, sure. Well, at Jesse Brown VA Medical Center, located on 820 South Damon, we service all the veterans from all eras. And I happen to work in a special clinic. Our program manager is Valerie Creedon, and it's called the Transition Care Management Clinic. And it's formerly was the OIF-OND clinic, and we service veterans from post 9/11. So it's an integrated clinic where we have primary care physicians, we have prescribers, we have psychologists and social workers, case management, and we have groups. We have partners from peer support to compensated work therapy, all working together to try to service these post 9/11 veterans from A to Z. Everything you can imagine, we try to provide that. But other areas of the health, we have a gero clinic, we have pain clinics, we have a clinic just for women veterans. This is women's health, and sometimes women needed, medical services outside the range of the ordinary male veteran, and we have a nice private area with the staff dedicated to providing services to female veterans. What other?
Do the PTSD
We have a
program?
specialized program for PTSD. I'm also a part of that, and PTSD has veteran era specific groups for Vietnam veterans, have interventions and groups for Gulf War veterans, as well as post 9/11 veterans there. And they also have specialized what we call evidence-based treatments, proven by science to have an impact on PTSD and other mental health symptoms like insomnia. So, and then I forgot that one of the biggest areas of our hospitals, we have a huge substance abuse program and methadone clinic in the hospital. So there's a whole array of services to help people recover from substance abuse, drugs, and alcohol. And we have sleep clinic, pain clinic, I already said. So everything you can imagine. You should check out our website, ChicagoVA.gov, I think. If not, I'll be corrected in a moment. But you were talking about the website, Make the Connection, and on your screen at home is the Make the Connection website. And just exactly as the caller described, you can cater there's a video for everything you could possibly imagine. So, Michelle, why don't you walk us through the video, through using this video. So I'm on the website and say I want to see videos only related to my veteran era, as I am a post 9/11 veteran from the Navy. How would I do that here?
So in order to, before we get to the videos, I just want to mention,
Okay.
Dr. Prosher, that there's a lot of other pieces in here that you can pull up that is informative on education on certain kinds of life events, maybe how to cope with those events. So there's a lot of just educational tools on here as well.
Oh, where are they?
So if you put in
Under
life
resources?
events and experiences, if you click on there, that gives you an example. You can click that on. And go and you scroll down on family relationships. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see some kind of topics on what family and relationship issues should I keep an eye out for. If you hit that plus sign, it will expand, and there will be an additional plethora of information that you can read that can give you some suggestions, certain warning signs to look for, and also some ways of kind of problem solving certain things. And so each one of those kinds of things that are just life events that we all might deal with at some point in time gives you a lot of really good pieces of information, not just what they look like, but how to maybe cope with those things when they happen. So that's another part of the website that I think is a really important piece to point out. Embedded, as you see, there are some videos, but we can point out some videos and how you can specifically look for ones that might be ones that you would want to.
By the way, it looks like there is, so the question was, okay, how do I take the next step? How do I make the connection? And it talks about talking to your doctor, your local VA, your spiritual advisor, but then it says explore resources, and I see here coaching in the care is here. And it's the VA program that guides family members, encourages them to use their resources, and they have a phone number and email, so that's pretty cool.
It can be anybody who cares about a veteran. It can be, I have other veterans who actually have approached me and they're trying to get their buddy in, and I've given them that number as well. So it's a family friend or any, somebody you served with, anybody who might be worried about somebody who's a veteran who, they think might need, could benefit from getting into some care. But if you go back to the top bar, well, you can customize it there as well. But if you go to the video section,
Okay.
we can click that on. So you're male, so why don't you put in male there for gender?
I am male, yes.
You
I am.
are
Yes,
indeed.
yes.
Your era, post 9/11, right?
Post 9/11.
And then you are from the Navy.
Go Navy.
Yep. So you can be as specific as you need to be. And you want combat or non-combat, you can put both, or you want yes, okay.
Well, I'll do both.
And then you can go to the advanced. So if you go all the way to the right to that blue, advanced filters, you can put specifically what you or the veteran you're concerned about might be struggling with. So if you hit, maybe let's look at drug and alcohol problems under signs and symptoms.
Okay.
And then
I'm
maybe
checking that.
maybe social withdrawal on the very bottom.
Social withdrawal.
We have a lot of folks who
All right.
start withdrawing, especially.
Okay.
And then if you scroll all the way down, you're going to get a list of the videos that are going to hit those criteria. So I know that the two on the left, the bottom one is Tristan, the other one is Darren. Those are both videos that I have observed before. They're both good if you wanted to play one and kind of see their story.
Okay. How about Tristan?
I like Tristan, okay.
My name's Tristan. I was in the United States Navy from 2004 to 2008. We launched attack helicopters, carriers, on deck, and combat. Shortly after I got back, my cousin came and visited me in San Diego. Great week. He just graduated from college. And then he went back home, and a month or two later, he had a heart attack and passed away. So that shook me. I started drinking really heavily. It's really easy to get caught up in drinking all the time and coming into work and report in the Navy, you work till 11 and go home. I didn't ever go for any mental health treatment at all while I was active duty. I realize now that I have some things prior to the military that were catching up.
I'm going to fast forward it because we never get to the end. I'm going to see what happens.
All day, every day. So even as unique a situation as you might be in, it still falls under a category or concept they know how to deal with. There are plenty of reasons not to walk in and take the first step, but there are more reasons to step in. It's always hard to start something new. Once you do, once you take that first step and all the odd parts that you can't visualize and all the parts of it that were scary because you weren't sure what it would be like, set into place around you and you say, okay, well, this isn't weird, this is okay. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you find yourself better for it.
Make the connection. All right. So that was cool. I wish we had more time to explore the video, and I really appreciate your time coming on. Again, for viewers at home, my name's Eric Prosher. This is Michelle Langlois. She is our suicide prevention coordinator. I'm a psychologist at Jesse Brown VA Medical Center, and we'd like to thank you for watching CAN-TV 21. You can learn more about Jesse Brown VA or our suicide prevention team by calling Michelle at 312-569-8009. And don't forget, we have a crisis line, which is 1-800-273-8255. Press 1 for veterans. If you're a civilian, you can also call that number, and there's someone live 24 hours, 7 days a week to talk with you as well. Now, we'll be here October 25th, and please stay tuned to follow Fathers Who Care. Will be following us in the next 5 minutes or so. But if you like what you see, check us out also on www.facebook.com/VA Chicago. And don't forget, there's Make the Connection, right? And that's www.maketheconnection.net. Check it out, play around with the videos. It's really cool, lots of resources there. We also have the Coaching Into Care, which is a support for family members to help work with their veterans to get them in. And I've already talked about the crisis line. Anything else? Again, I'd like to thank you for coming on. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers at home?
Yes, the one thing I'd like to mention, Eric, that we didn't get to was on the Make the Connection website, there's also a resource locator. And so that if somebody wants to get into care, they can just put their zip code in, and they can pull up all the VA resources. They can also pull up non-VA resources if they don't want to deal with the VA or they're not eligible. So there's a lot of resources that on that same site can give you a whole bunch of services for the veteran that they can use.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.